Hey guys, Jared here. Today I wanted to talk about writing a Paladin character, whether it's for a novel or RPG or even a screenplay. These are essentially Arthurian knights, or Knights of the Round Table. They live and die by a code, for better or for worse. It could be a deeply spiritual good guy, or a highly dogmatic bad guy. Either way, they hold strong religious beliefs and act upon these beliefs. The word paladin comes from a group of elite knights under the French king Charlemagne's rule. Of course, in the fantasy genre, they're known as the knights with the glowing weapons, who smite grotesque undead horrors in a fiery blaze of awesomeness. But let's take a look at how we could ground this kind of character and make an interesting backstory for someone who's otherwise a walking laser beam. Many Paladin characters act as law enforcers for whatever order they're a part of, for better or worse, but either way, they lean towards the lawful end of the spectrum. Obviously, this includes the radiant enforcers of justice, but it could also be flipped on its head for a darker reason, a lawful yet evil type of character. Whether they're a part of an RPG group or the character of a story, they need to come against what they believe justice is. Is it following the written law as it is? Or could their own sense of morality or compassion come into play? I like to think of Hank Hill as a good example of this kind of character, from King of the Hill. He's stiff and uptight about the rules, but he's also likable, and it's hilarious when he gets put in uncomfortable positions he's not prepared for. And of course, we have the infamous Oathbreaker. This is a character that's turned their back on everything they thought they knew. It's inherently a lonely character who's had some real soul searching. What happens when a strict lawkeeper finds a new sense of morality? But consider the duality working inside this character. They both have a sense of honor still, but also this aching emptiness of not knowing what to believe, or maybe just understanding that what they once believed was somehow a lie. Also, this is a great character to set up for relationships, whether romantic or even just friendship. Being all alone kinda sucks. The one who smites. Looking at you, fellow RPG nerds. This is the strong arm of the order, the paladin most built for combat. They often seek and destroy with fire-like abilities, kind of an avenging angel. But I'd argue you could give them an icy elemental edge against infernal creatures. Either way, this character is kind of a lot to deal with. But on a deeper note, this character has a bit of an edge to them, maybe even anger or rage, and they may have to grapple with the concept of justice versus revenge. If a foolish villager accidentally summons a zombie from a book they randomly found on the street, does that person get punished as well? Of course, all paladins have to know where to draw that line. They are all enforcers or warriors of some kind. But where exactly is that line drawn? At what point does this character turn into a bloodthirsty monster themselves? Sometimes the whole good and evil thing gets overplayed, and people want to get creative. I think replacing this duality with order versus chaos is another great way to build a paladin. You still need to be devoted to something beyond yourself as a paladin, but you can tap into this element of balancing nature or cosmic forces. This archetype works well with paladins who serve nature, the Fae, earth, steel, the forge, weather, the list goes on. All of these elemental paladins deal with the balance. Steel needs the right balance of metals, carbon, and heat. Weather is a balance of temperature, moisture, gases. Ecosystems are balances of all of those things, plus communities of living organisms. And it could all fall apart in an instant. You could think of this character as a Jedi in the way they balance the Force, all Zen-like with a glowing sword. They can fit a party dynamic by being the laid-back best friend of the group, generally a cool cat. Whatever elemental focus you choose to go with, your character has built their life around the lessons that live within their given element. On the other hand, they could make interesting wanderers who bring a unique perspective to the problems they come across. Something like a wandering sword hero, but in paladin form. This certainly isn't an extensive list of every paladin you can make, but they do make for some pretty cool guidelines for common tropes I see in the paladin archetype. What's even cooler is you can actually throw these all together in the same character. Maybe the lawkeeper has been keeping the law for a little bit too long and starting to become the avenger. What if that lawkeeper / avenger realizes what they've been doing and then becomes an oathbreaker? And after wandering as an oathbreaker, they come to find a new path, something more like a sage path. Any way you look at it, this is a deep character with deep feelings that are exploring a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like RPGs, storytelling, or just genre content in fantasy or science fiction, consider liking and subscribing.